Everybody, Captain Bill Saiff III on the back deck of boats here in the Saiff charter fleet. It's Staging King Salmon time. We're in the trench off Henderson, and we're going to catch a couple kings in this video that I'm going to show you right now, but primarily we're going to talk about pattern building. Today we started out with glow presentations, stuff like what we refer to as the Johnny Special. You can see it's a chartreuse paddle here with cracked ice glow tape on the front of it, silver lead back on the back side. That's a go-to bait in the Saiff charter pattern in the fall of the year, but we're running that in conjunction in the early morning with other glow patterns. Once the sun gets high, those started to retard in the action. It was not working the way that it needed to work, so we went to a base plate in the center that's so critical to pattern building with the Saiff charter fleet. Basic green crinkle fly here, Pro Troll E-chip. This is what we refer to as big silver. A lot of times we'll run that bottom track in here on our number 3 rig on the bottom. Not so, it's a fabulous king producer, but we don't always put it in the pattern because it's the guaranteed effective bait. Many times it is, and those kings will come in and hit it, but more often than not we can build a structured pattern around that big silver plate by running it tight to the ball and on the bottom. It'll stir those fish up, get them up in the water column, excite them, bring them into the pattern, and then a lot of times when the king gets in on top of this bait, it's a little bit too much for him, the bright flash, so he'll disengage, and when he slides to the outside, that's when we've got loaded rods that are a bit more subtle on our wingers, on our outside downriggers. They disengage, they drop back, they can hunt that solitary bait, and they'll come in and hit it. So running this down the chute on number 3 is critically important in high sun conditions to getting them to come in. We run this chartreuse paddle over on what we refer to as the off winger. If we're saying an off winger, what we mean is, and I'm just going to drop it in position right here, this number 2 rigger right here will stay out of the pattern. So we'll run a bait here, skip a rigger, and then run 2 baits right here on the outside. This will drag the fish in. Generally, if that's the pattern we're going to build, we'll run this slightly further back in the water column and slightly higher than the one we're using to excite the fish. What gets the draw over here? High sun. We wanted silver, silver, blue, but we've got a glow panel on the back side of this cracked ice tape as well. So we've got a bit of both worlds. This is what we would refer to as a dual action bait. If we needed to charge this up early in the morning, or all of a sudden we had overcast conditions come in, this would still be a strong producer. Building that pattern and thinking about how those baits work in conjunction with one another is critical to Staging King Salmon success. I've got some great fish on. We got a pair of kings coming your way. Let's go to the action. Hi everybody, Captain Bill Saiff III. Back deck, my buddy Mike Natto's locked up. Johnny Special, 36-inch Pro-Am fly. Tight, we've had a hard time holding fish today. I stuck them 4 times. Should be decent on this fish. We pulled the meat off the rig, pulled the meat off, and went with the big silver in the center. A lot of times, even if they don't bite the big silver, we'll put it in the center just because the eye appeal or the attraction for attracting other fish into the rig. Got them up there, George. See them? Yep. You want to try to kill them with the rod down?
Yeah, just move the other rod over.
Keep steering them this way, Mike, to the right. Right over my head, Mike. Right into the port. Hold them right tight, Mike, just like that. Captain George Koga's working the wheel. Step to your right, Mike. We get inside you. Be careful he doesn't touch any cable. Wind down, wind down, wind down, wind down. Raise your rod. Got him, George. Stop. Perfect. Okay, George, get me going. Nice on the Johnny Special. Get him right out of the rig, just like that. Nice silver king, George. He's been in here a while, but not real long. Now, once we get a fish in like that, everybody wants to go to getting that fish out, doing everything. You know you're on a hot bite. When these fish flurry, it's important to go right over the top of them. So before we do anything, I'm going to drop around Mike. While he works that, I'm going to get wet immediately right over the top of the bite. Here's what we're going to do. Come on right in here with me. I'm running this tight, just 10-15 feet behind the ball. I'm going to quick come in. I'm going to hit this. If you're running high-speed riggers, that's great like we are. But even with the cannons, we'll hit this and we'll free clutch so that we can move that rig down at a fast rate of speed. George, what depth are we in?
34. 134.
We are in 134. So as we get close, I'm going to go until I hit 125 on the counter. I'm going to tighten the rigger up. Now I'm going to walk it in. Watch the cable on the end of the rigger. Watch the cable. You're going to see us hit bottom right there. Raise it 2 feet. Stop it. Let it blow up in the water column. That's exactly what we're doing to catch these kings during the staging period. Working on more of a glow bite here today, and it just wasn't working. We were taking the hits, but we weren't getting the fish in the boat, so we went with more of a silver pattern, big silver down the center, and a blue light out on number 1. This is actually a blue light special because it's got glow on the back. Step over here. Stay right with me, right tight here. Right tight. If I tell you to hand me the rod, hand it to me. Wind down, wind down, wind down. Raise your rod, back up. Got him, George. Now we're going to show you something here. Here is, come on right in here, Mike. Here's why we call this a blue light. The original bait was blue like this with a white stripe right down the center, and silver on the back side. By putting glow on the back of it, that's when we turn that into a blue light special. This one had a green live action fly in the fish's mouth. This is a bright silver fish that just came in. Back right up. I'm going to come in with it, Mike. You'll see by the color of this fish that this is a fresh fish to the trench. And not surprising, this fish is off in the net. The last king that we took was right up in the end of the nose, so it's critical to stay extremely tight on these fish because we have to make the assumption that even with that number 2 owner and that number 4 Siwash in front of it, and they're both in great condition, that these fish are just coming in and nipping at the very back of it. You can tell the fish should have come off. They're darting, making quick moves like this where they have all the faculties of their head because they're hooked up in the end of the nose. Generally, if you hook that king in the corner, he's going to peel out and burn. We've had none of that today, so important to camp right on the rod, stay tight on it. There is the live action skirted over the top of a Mirage fly, 36 inches behind that blue light special. Getting it done, we're going to drop back down over the hot bite right now. We got an interesting pattern going. We got an interesting bite going on the 130-foot contour, and I'm going to show you what has lit this pattern up and explain to you why we're doing the things that we're doing. Come on right here, Mike. Work with me. What I'm bringing in right now that's deep, that's tracking on the bottom, is the bait we call Big Silver. That's a Pro Troll E-chip flasher, basic green fly behind it, 36 inches. We had white down, we had green down, couldn't get these fish to activate. A lot of times we'll bury Big Silver on the bottom right here on the number 3 rig, and the reason that we do that is because it stirs the fish up, it excites them, it gets them supercharged. Sometimes they bite that Big Silver, but a lot of times Big Silver never takes a strike. But the Johnny Special, the Blue Light Special, the Jolly Green Johnny, the other baits that we're working on the wingers on the perimeter, those fish are attracted into Big Silver, and then they disengage. And as they disengage, they spin out of the pattern, slow her down a little bit, George, and as they drop back, here are these other flashers rotating. It's a more subtle presentation. All of a sudden, the number 1 rigger, the number 4 rigger are going, but pull that Big Silver out of the center, out of the pattern, and the entire presentation falls apart. You gotta think in Staging King Salmon about what you need to do to activate those fish and build a presentation that's gonna catch them. Sometimes one of your baits is the attractor and the others are the ones that are doing the job catching the fish. Let's take a look at Ira right here. He's getting tight on this fish. Coming right in, a little bit to the right. This is a Johnny Special, which is a chartreuse Pro-Troll E-chip. Got glow on one side, lead silver back on the other. Today we're fishing them tight, just 15 feet off the ball. Many times on Kings, easy, slow down George, many times on Kings, the off-winger, the rod that's by itself, will lead back in a tail gunning situation so that when those fish disengage, they're by themselves. Okay, right here with me, right over the back. Rod tip to the right. Easy, raise your rod, back them up, back them up, back them up. Got him. Gonna come right in, I'm gonna show you this bait. Here we go. More of a Jack King, not a giant fish, but again, he's mature, he's gonna go up the river and spawn, even though he's in with an older group of fish. Here is that Johnny Special, chartreuse blade. This has got the lead silver back, glow on this side, 11-inch paddle, 36 inches down to the fruits of his labor. A beautiful king right there. More of a 2-year-old, 2.5-year-old fish, but certainly bronzed up. He's going into the staging pattern, and within a week or two he's going to be in the Black River. But in typical Saiff charter fashion, we short-circuited his migration. That's what we're all about. That's how it's working on the back deck of the Saiff charter fleet.